Hello and welcome back to the News You Missed Weekly Recap. This is the video game news show that recaps all the major happenings in video game news and allows you to get caught up on these news stories. Please don't be out of the loop, click subscribe today and stay caught up. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me on my social medias. I have a Patreon if you'd like to support me more directly and keep the news show funded, but without further ado, I suppose we should just jump right in. First things first I want to address is Mario Battle Royale. So a person decided to use a web browser to program a game where you can play the original Mario Brothers, and at this time there are 3 levels. The first one to reach Bowser wins. Of course, there's also second and third place, but everyone else is SOL. The NES game includes 75 people that can play together at the same time, and it ends up just being a huge race to the finish. Now here's the twist. You're playing with all these people, but only one person can grab the power-up. Depending on how quick you are, depends on whether or not you actually make it to the end and get anything, and that really is exactly what it is. I wouldn't necessarily call it a battle royale, more of a race, but I suppose once you're dead, or you lose a lot of time. I'm sure there's going to be new game modes and tweaks added to this as time goes forward, so we'll see what's going to happen. The most lethal weapons in the game are the star as well as the Koopa shell, because that kills people around you. There you have it. If you've ever wanted to race to the finish against people, you can now with this NES game. You can sign on and you play it for free, I suppose, so check into it if you're interested. Continuing on, we had The Witcher 3 releasing on the Nintendo Switch, and yeah, this looks amazing. To say the least, the Nintendo Switch is not really near as powerful as the Xbox One X or PS4 Pro, but The Witcher 3 Complete Edition runs great on the Nintendo Switch. We've been able to see some screenshots, some comparisons, and somebody made a video comparing this version to the PlayStation 4 version. But once again, I do have to add the footnote: if you want the best experience ever playing The Witcher or any game that is available also on PC, play it on PC. Really, if you're buying it for the Switch, you should only do so if you literally have no other console or PC that is capable of running this, or you want a mobile version of this game. In which case, it's a huge game, and I understand if you would like to take it with you. So portability is a factor in this. But again, Switch games are heavily overpriced in comparison to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, where you can get games on the cheap. So if you're rich and you want to take your games everywhere with you, the Nintendo Switch version would be the best for you. And it doesn't look half bad. Continuing into the Nintendo news, Metal Gear Solid gets a 4K remaster thanks to AI. Now, that's not entirely the case, and it's not just Metal Gear Solid. It is Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, the full game, which has been upscaled with HD textures at 4K 60 FPS plus 16:9 ratio. Now, I have to talk about this because this game released on the GameCube. It was a remake of the original Metal Gear Solid, which it did the original Metal Gear Solid justice by adding a few cutscenes in and making it look much, much better, as well as adding the legendarily sweet controls of the GameCube and first-person elements to it, which was really, really great. I've got to tell you, it really did a great thing for the original Metal Gear Solid that was available on the PlayStation, updating it in that way. Now it seems that it is updated to include the ability to play it on television sets that are more conventional these days, being 16:9 and supporting up to 4K with 60 FPS. 60 FPS is important, but back in the day with the GameCube, you couldn't get above 480p. Really, even with the special attachment, upscaling it now with all this hardware, it's still very, very difficult to get the perfect resolution. Here, you have it at 4K 60 FPS and 16:9. So that's really cool. I really appreciate what this person went through, their efforts to get this to work really, really well, and it seems that their efforts were rewarded because they did get it working. So check into the video if you're not going to play the game yourself. You won't be disappointed. We're going to continue on, and Electronic Arts CEO says they're committed to Anthem. Okay. I guess you'd have to be with how much money you spent on it. I've read through this story, but I really don't know what to say other than the fact that this seems more like marketing jargon to prevent the player base from abandoning the game. It's just a lie. You have a bad game franchise that was developed very poorly, and it ended up in a worse state than the original Destiny launched at, so that's really doing something. But then you add to it that you're going to put out continued support for it, and it just seems like a straight up lie with the things that Electronic Arts have been doing for Anthem, all these updates that the community don't really like and don't enjoy. But I mention it because EA also stated in another story that they call their loot boxes surprise mechanics and say they're used ethically. Now, I really want to get into this story because it's effing crazy. So, a senior executive at Electronic Arts told the United Kingdom's Parliament that the company first called loot boxes surprise mechanics and argued that EA games are quite ethical, quite fun, and enjoyable to people. That was a quote. They actually compared their loot boxes to Kinder Eggs, a chocolate treat with a toy in the center, and the reason that the Parliament banned those eggs is because it was a choking hazard for kids. But it's funny that they compared their product to a product that has literally been banned in their country. EA is so out of touch with reality. They use such wording and mental gymnastics to try and get around the fact that loot boxes lead to gambling. They push for gambling in games, and this is just glorified gambling to children. Loot boxes are a cancer on society, and they need to be destroyed. They're horrible. I don't know what else to say. I've hammered the topic many times, but apparently EA think that they're pleasant surprises. What do you think about loot boxes? You let me know. By the way, Gears 5 will not have loot boxes, so in a little blurb here, Gears of 5 will not have a season pass, gear packs, DLC maps will be free for matchmaking and private play, exclusive earnable content in all new Tour Duty system, and there's going to be App Store purchases, but they're direct with no RNG, so you will know exactly what you're going to buy. So there you go, another game that will not be featuring loot boxes. Awesome, I'm all about that. Destiny 2 Stadia player base is separate from PC. Bungie has confirmed this, but they have stated that Stadia will crossplay. Destiny 2 is great. Wonderful game. Again, I would strongly suggest that you actually buy a copy for yourself. It's an online-only game, so physical copies are still pretty useless. You use them as coaster if you want to when the servers go down, which they inevitably will. But it's still a fun game to play, all in all the same. I like Destiny 2. Sorry, I'm a little biased that way. But I would strongly encourage you to buy the PC version and get a PC that is capable of running it. Right now, you could get a GTX 980, and it will run Destiny 2 pretty flawlessly as long as you have a decent CPU, decent RAM. That's all you need. And these days, those type of components to run Destiny 2 very well on your PC would not cost more than $300-400. You could get them budget very cheap. So I'm not really sure why someone would buy Google Stadia, which would require an online subscription to play these types of games, online support, stuff like that, all kinds of just added BS when you could just buy the PC version and be done with it. The servers are absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything extra for the Blizzard client, and it runs perfectly fine with a plug-and-play Xbox One controller. And again, the components to run it perfectly on a computer less than $300. So it's pretty cheap. At the end of the day, you do what you want, you spend your money on what you want, but I'm just trying to save you some cash. Destiny 2 is still a great game, cross-playing, awesome. That's all I have to say for that. Square Enix explains why it changed Tifa's breast size in Final Fantasy VII's Remake. I wanted to talk about this because it's incredibly stupid. A lot of people are rebelling against this. Look, you could have a chick with double D tits, as far as I'm concerned, in a game, and she could do ridiculous gymnastics with that tit size. I don't care. It's unrealistic because video games are unrealistic a lot of the time. They went on record and stated that they aren't censoring this for any particular reason other than the fact that they just want Tifa to be more athletic and appear with abs and be the athletic build, and that's why they lowered the breast size. So that's the only reason. That's literally it. There's nothing else. They feel that it was necessary to restrict her chest for that reason. to have an athletic feel. She's a fighter, and after all, that likely means she has abs and is, in general, very fit. Not really sure if huge tits means you're not fit, but there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think you need to get too excited over a fictional video game character having smaller tits than what you remember. Besides, you can always pop in the PlayStation disc or play the game that has been ported to almost every system in existence. It's almost as bad as Doom. How many systems play Final Fantasy VII now? Now, I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. I would greatly appreciate you liking and sharing the video. Absolutely free, supports me, and keeps this channel going. And again, you pay nothing to do it. I would love to hear your comments about these news stories as I read over them in the morning for my next workday. As always, good gaming, God bless, and I hope to see you back here next time. Thanks for watching.